Alright, I feel like I haven't been here for a little while. So today, I'm going to show you my Cycrododon collection. I have not one, not two, but three generations I'm going to show you. This one's already open, so let's get started. First one, we have Infernex. He's the main character. And I really like the focus of how his orange fire hair connects to his head to tail. This one's one of my favorites. Next up is Lethal, with his little leaf stick I have for him. He's also one of the plants because he has little poison spots. Next, we have Ice Cap. You've seen him in a couple videos, and he's one of the cowardly ones out of the bunch because he's got the ice cube glasses. He's kind of a frozen character. Next one we have Silkia. She's one of the lovable characters, and you really gotta love this one because I really like her design. Although she is also resemblant to Sylveon from Pokemon, but that's not true. This is Silkia. She's way different. Next up, we have Toxicroc. Another one of my favorites because he has a snot dangling from his nose. Next up, we have Jack-o'-lantern, another one of my favorites. He's one of the pumpkin-headed Cycrododon with the glasses and the flame. Next, we have Hatter. I gave him a new design with little ghost plasms and his hat and much brighter eyes. Next, we have Paula Shell. And then there's Torguppy. And there's Boilberg. I really like this one because I like the voice they gave him. It gives him character. Next one, there's Voltobelisk. The next one we have is Bonsai. Another one of my favorite ones because I also like his voice. You hate him? I think I hate him a little bit because here's Tree Duck. Not one of my favorites because he's annoying. Next up we have Electrokid. He has a lightning ball on his head. Next we have Poise. And there's Wancertle, who is a best friend of Infernex. Next up, we have another one of my favorites, Chuzzflower, another one of the main characters. Next, we have Nitro Punch. I like his design because he's just a little bug with a little hand right here and a bigger metal fist right here. Next up, we have the two little guys. We have D-Divide and Multiply. These are like Plusle and Minmin, but they're a lot different. Have the plus symbol, have the division symbol and division symbol right here, and the multiplication symbol over there. Next one is Jelly Belly. She is a jellyfish one. Then there's Bladelin. And then we have Bonsai's evolution, Bean Boozle. He has little yellow coconut eggs. I also kind of like this character because I like the leaves that I gave him. Next we have Zull. He's a little shy, but it's okay. You can give him hugs because he's a little bit shy. Next up we have Pumpkin Noob. He evolves into Jack-o'-lantern. And there's Pitcher Rod, one of the pitcher plants. Next up we have Slugmare, one of the snail fire creatures. Next up we have Shaloop, another one of my favorites because he's a piece of dirt and also resembles a Hershey Kiss. I like this character. Next up we have Electrobeetle. Next up, we have Gravel Lurch, the evolved form of Shaloop. Next up, we have Manta Feline. She's one of the manta rays, and is a cat. Next up, we have Fubbler, which is a sumo Cycrododon. Next up, we have Chuzzleweed, the evolved form of Chuzzflower. Then we've got Polyswag, who thinks he's so cool. Next we have Sharpedo, the evolved form of Bladelin. And I like the little shurikens they gave on his blades. Then we have these three. Chainstark. We have Greensley. I like the little cape I gave him. And then there's Pyroster, who hangs out with Greensley. Next up we have Ignitrogen, who is the Fire Dragon Cycrododon, and Infernex evolves into him. Next we have Lantiru. I really like her design because she's an anglerfish. Next we have Snailgeist. She's like the poltergeist snail. And she's really poisonous. Next up we have Wako. He has a shell on his head. And also there's Lone Roy, which is a little bubble fish. And finally, we have Blast Splash, when Turtle evolves into him. And Chainstark evolves into Gigglebite. Gigglebite's right here. Yep, that's it. And that's my Generation 1 Cycrododon. Alright, now that that's cleaned up, it's time to show you some Generation 2 Cycrododon. So first up we have Papillon. She now has blue instead of gray. Next up there's Spriteling. She's the bird. Next we have Hysteria. She's one of the python-like Cycrododon. And also gave her a pink streak of hair. I kind of like her design. Next up we have Roly Pill. Then there's Kablong, one of the Kung Fu fighting Cycrododon. Next we have Stump Punch. He has a stump on his head. Next up we have Wadgel Mouth. Then we have Scallops. Originally, Scallops was going to be a female, but then I changed it to her being a male, and then I rapidly changed my mind, so Scallops is now a female. Next up we have Ilghoul, which kind of looks like Bladelin's ancestors, which is definitely right because he also has that blade on his head and also some very stylish green hair. Next we have Whirlgel Mouth, which is the evolved form of Whirlgel Mouth. Give it a gaping tongue and 6 eyes. Next we have Benkai, one of the suit of armor Cycrododon that came to life, and is another one of my favorites. Next we have Platypro. He's a platypus Cycrododon. Then we have Sore Eye. He's a little demon-like creature with an eyeball. I see you. Yeah, sure you do. Next up we have Taranch. I don't know why I invented him, he just popped in my head. Next we have Lava Antennae. Little slug with antennae eyes. Next up we have Boink! Odorops. Odorops is a very interesting Cycrododon because I don't know why I invented him, but I really like how he turned out in the end. Next we have Mudsaw. She's one of the dangerous Cycrododon we have to worry about because she has lots of spikes and dangerous fur, and also sharp claws and sharp teeth. And she doesn't like when people look at her. Next one we have Torgakis. She's the evolved form of Torguppy. Lots of red spikes and stuff. Next up, we have Escape Rock. There's a little rose on here. Alright, then we have Disembodied. The reason why this Cycrododon existed, he was the first one that came to my mind when Generation 2 is in progress. And I gave him the personality where this bobby pin thing is stuck in his brain. If you take it out, he becomes smart. But if you put it back in his brain, he becomes dumb. And also there's Deform Monster, which is the evolved form of Disembodied. Give him like DNA like arms, and antenna eyes. And also choking on a marble. I gave him that personality for choking on stuff. Next up we have Time Wappa. He has a clock in his mouth, and when he opens his mouth, here's a clock. I like his design because he tells time. And also reverses time and stops it. Next up we have Emberophant. He's the elephant of fire. I also like his design too. Next up, we have Chubbly. I have no idea where this one came from, but he's kind of the worthless Cycrododon until he evolves. Next up, we have Noser. I know what you're thinking. He's a big nose. He does. If you turn this side, he looks like a chicken. But apparently this is his real face right here. He's just a big nose. Next one is Venuspore, which is the evolved form of Pitcher Rod, with a Venus flytrap mouth and sundew-like tentacles. And it's a really dangerous one. He's a poisonous. Next up we have Mudgrudge, the evolved form of Zull, with big mud hands. Next up we have a few. There's Cherubin, the green cherries that always fight together. There's Silveruffle, which Papillion and Spriteling fuse into. These two Cycrododon, they fuse into this, which is a pretty beautiful bird made out of silver. There's Pimple. She's the cutest out of the bunch, and she usually helps around, even though she doesn't even have any arms. Next up we have Footstool. It's a human foot with an eyeball and fungus. Next we have P-Wiz. Now I know what you're thinking. This is a drop of pee, but it's electrified water, so don't sue me. Next we have Captain Breakneck, one of the pirate Cycrododon, with a pirate hat and a pirate hook. Next we have Snotty. If you fuse Noser and P-Wiz together, you get Snotty. A big nose drooping snot drops of P-Wiz's relatives, and is a very powerful Cycrododon. And we also have Benkai's sword. So if there's two little holes in Benkai's hands, you can use this toothpick to put them in like this. I think so. It's kind of hard. I'll do it later. So this is a little accessory you get with Benkai. And finally, Vinolurk. This big Cycrododon is really tough. He has 2 eyes on his tentacles. Oops. I kind of broke this part. He has lots of tentacles and has a gaping mouth with 1 big eyeball. So it goes over there. Yep. And these are all my Generation 2 Cycrododon. Duh. Alright, now that I got that cleaned up, it's time for the last box. Generation 3. So, first up we have Wrecking Brawl. He has a Wrecking Ball tail. Now I know what you're thinking. I want to tell you a little history. This was the first original Cycrododon I came up with back at BES. And I really like his design. With like Dragon Ball Z hair, and this is flowing black back hair back here, and also this Wrecking Ball tail. I like his design. Next up we have Pointy-O. He has a shell-like nose. He's not that cowardly like Ice Cap, but hey, who might judge? Next up we have Twig-Growth. He has tree branches and sticks, and he normally falls asleep sometimes. Next up we have Rhino-Gust. I know what you're thinking. It doesn't look like he's a rhinoceros beetle. Although that theory is not confirmed because he thinks himself that he is a rhinoceros beetle because these two pinchers right here. And also has a bad relationship to Benkai. Next up we have the two brothers, Sacrosol, who has staff of controlling wind and rain. And then we have Samurant. Samurant has the staff of the undead. And I gave him some really cool samurai armor. Next up we have... Who's that? It's Hovertick. Another one of my favorite Cycrododon because he's a blue deer tick with a superhero cape. And he's basically like Superman. But he doesn't do that turning around Earth or something like that. Next we have Burn Ninja. Not much information because he's always angry. And next one we have Isocruel. Isocruel is another one of my favorites because she has a relationship to Infernex and she has a very decent life. And also hangs out with Silkia. She doesn't like her, but she likes her. Next up we have Fiddler Punch. He has another fist organism right here, and you can actually move it, which is a really cool accessory. They're like the best of friends. Next up we have the mysterious Dark Tick. Dark Tick is one of the most mysterious ones. I know what you're thinking. He looks like Mimikyu from Pokemon Sun and Moon, although that's not confirmed because here are the two similarities. This is the real Hovertick, and this is the fake Hovertick. Here's his Shadow Claw, and here's his two hands. Here are his wings, and here are his wings. Can you tell the difference? They're different. And they're not relatives. For now. Next up we have Coffee. She's one of the coughing Cycrododon that makes you cough, makes your throat itch a little bit. Next up we have Pharaohsicle. She is resemblant to Isocruel, and she is the pharaoh out of all Cycrododon. She has an ear piercing right here, and a pharaoh snake, and some very decent mummy wraps. Next up we have Arachnor, one of the spider Cycrododon, with a little stinger right here, and a couple of stingers right here, and some very decent red eyes. Evil. Next up we have this thing, Ufogus. Apparently I have no idea where this one came from, but hey, it's my imagination. Next up we have Mushroomish. She has a moss on her back and a mushroom right here. Creative. Next up we have Scrubbish, one of the turnip Cycrododon. He doesn't normally speak, he just makes random noises. Next up we have these little troublemakers, Demonites. Demonites, I really have no idea where these things came from, but they're very, very dark Cycrododon. They attack in pairs. Next up we have another one of my favorites, Myclops. He's not a Cyclops, but he has two antennae eyes. And I really like his mouth, and also like his design. I like him. Next up, we have J. Hamakio. J. Hamakio is like a giant dragon-like Cycrododon, with like scissor-like hands. And we have his pre-evolution, Jamango, with scissor-like hands, like crab. And yeah, he evolves into this guy. Next up we have his sister, Klingala. The reason why she's called Klingala because she has little clings on her palms, so she hugs people and she doesn't let them go until you say please. Next up is Lethal Lightning. Lethal Lightning is, I don't know if he's my favorite, but He's a very cool one. Next up, we have Sheldogrin. You fuse Pyroster and Wako, and you get this octopus shell creature. Next up, we have Scallops and Roly-Pill's evolution, Emeraldbug, and Suction Cupules. Suction Cupules, I don't remember her name, but she does have a plunger on her head. And then we have Roly-Pill. Another really cool one. Next up we have Grimgut, which is the evolved form of Poise. I like his coloration of the purple, lime green, and yellow. And also his eyes. And also this thing. It's a Lego. Next up we have Junkle, which is one of the bugs. He can't really do much on his own, but what he can do, he can't bite people, which is a good thing. Next up we have this guy, Toilet. Apparently Toilet just hangs around and just barfs people with his toilet water and hangs out with Wrecking Brawl. It's quite a shame I gave this one original character this guy as a butler. He definitely is a toilet. Yeah, but I have no idea why I invented him in the first place. Next up we have, don't make him mad, it's Boombug. Now Boombug is very cute on the surface, but if you make him mad, he explodes. Next up, we have Klingala's evolution, Raggan. Now Raggan's another one of my favorites because she produces life from her glowing orb tail, and she has horns and a ring on her horn. And yeah, she's also married to Jay Hamakio. They're both mother and father. Next up we have Smoggeist, which is the evolved form of Coffee. Sorry, I mixed up her name with that Pokemon. So, the reason why this one's also my favorite, because with her sharp teeth and her nail polish, I think she's another one of my favorites. Next up, I couldn't forget this love matchmaker, Cupistala. Now off the bat, this one's my most favorite because of her hair and her halo on her head, and also her wraps. She's a quite cool one. Next up, we have Melge. And then we have El Taki. His name resembles to the very hot spicy chips. And his big hands, which embark in fire. Next up we have Crabicler, which is the evolved form of Fiddler Punch. And that's pretty much it. This is my Generation 3 Cycrododon. Now next time, I will be reviewing Generation 4, 5, and 6. So see you next time. Make sure to smash the like button. Or else. Alright, Dark Tick. Stop coughing. Ugh, now you made my screen all dirty. Sorry about that.